deliver an intense fire in a very short duration of time. You require GPMGs for a very heavy volume of fire, sniper rifles which are more accurate and long range, in addition to the assault rifles. One of the very important facets of modern warfare is situational awareness. A soldier must know what is around him. Up till now, the soldier was under the voice control of his section commander. He really did not know what was happening except in his immediate front. In order to overcome this lacuna, lightweight, ruggedized touch-screen computer to display digital maps. It has a capability of encrypted data, and it can also transmit a video picture from any of the sensors. Could also be a short range or a mini or a micro UAV. You require a computer with a radio system that integrates the data transfer and management of combat-oriented digital data. Computer display, organic LEDs are available which are effective even in sunlight. So anything below this probably will not be useful to the soldier because he will not be able to read the computer in daytime. Technology for software already exists. Ruggedized computers with display are visible in bright light sun are available. And finally, a Bluetooth to enable all these sensors to be integrated and to be presented to the soldier, if possible, on a head-up display. Briefly about the radio coverage for a soldier need not be more than about 1 kilometer. Nowadays we are talking about software-defined radios, IP-based. There is something very interesting, that is mesh topology. By the help of this mesh topology, that means each radio has a built-in function to transmit the transmission of one soldier across the chain. It goes without the other soldier knowing. It acts as a relay station. So these short-range radios can also give you ranges of up to 9 to 10 kilometers very easily without anybody coming to know or without affecting your communications. That is the way to go for shorter range communications. Of course, security for transmission, voice data, and graphics and images are required. Now we need to take into consideration whether an individual soldier is required to be given the amount of security that is needed because he is really on the battlefield itself. It doesn't matter to anybody whether somebody else is able to see that picture or not. Single band for intra-section communication, dual or multiple bands for higher level communication. We have to note that all these radios have to be compatible with the FMS so that they are able to seamlessly communicate with each other. Briefly on protection technologies. Gentlemen, there is a tendency to go in and lower the weight as time passes. I would like to remind you that today there are many experimental technologies which are existing. Nanofiber technology is changing the scene altogether, but there is nothing available in quantity and in the economy required to equip every soldier with it. So therefore, we have to do with laminated fiber technology. That is number of densely packed, very fine denier fibers which provide greater protection with lower weight. So there is generally has been a tendency to reduce the weight. It's a very good thing. But you have to make up your mind the degree of protection you need and how it affects the mobility of the soldier. You cannot have 1 kg vest to be able to give you protection against a 7.62 bullet. So you have to be practical about it many a times you find that the RFPs being issued are not achievable. People talk about liquid armor, which is not rigid, which conforms to a body shape, but it is still in the experimental stages. It has not found its way to India as yet, or somebody may correct me if I'm wrong, anywhere in the world as yet. Coming on to the clothing and load carrying equipment, clothing to minimize physical strain, provide concealment. It is possible for the fabric to have visual camouflage incorporated as well as thermal camouflage incorporated. CRBN is another issue. Of course, it needs deliberation. You cannot have everything all the time. You require protection against kinetic energy projectiles, impacts, and fragments. That is well known. Some people are also talking about undervests to be fused with sensor to monitor the soldier's health and transmit this information over the radio. This is again, I feel it's a luxury. May not be required. It may not be also practical in the next few years. Then flexible frame to fit body contours to carry ergonomically distributed loads for minimum discomfort. This is possible, it is practical, and with little imagination this can easily be achieved within the country itself. Of course, all fabrics, all equipment to be constructed with fireproof or fire retarding materials. Ballistic helmet. It is an important piece of protection. We have been very reluctant to change the helmet over the years. Earlier on it was steel based, then it became fiberglass. But today there are materials which are lighter than Kevlar with better ballistic, blast and impact protection. One of the things that comes in the way is that you have to pay more for it. And generally governments would want to know why it is necessary to pay more when you can get the same protection level for a helmet which may be half a kg heavier. So this, it is up to the gentlemen who are serving to be able to convince the authorities that a helmet has to be lightweight. I have also heard several people wanting the helmet to provide protection against a 7.62 bullet. Now, whatever you might do, either you make the helmet so heavy that a soldier has to take it off after about half an hour, or even if the bullet strikes you, the neck will not be able to sustain the momentum. So it is not a practical decision unless there is a very revolutionary change in the protection methods. Laws of physics do not permit this. Of course, visors and goggles are available with multi-band filters to protect against lasers as well as fragmentation. A protection against lasers is also required because willy-nilly you might look into a laser fired by the enemy which has the potential to blind you. And finally, gentlemen, power supply. The requirement is for a soldier to operate for 96 hours within the technologies available. To my mind, it is not possible unless it is supplemented by fuel cell technology. So therefore, we have to take into consideration what is available and come to a very reasonable estimation of the power supply and the time a soldier is required to operate without changing it. I'll just, on the slide, I've just shown the expenditure on a soldier. I'm not very sure if you can read it from there, but I will just briefly read it out, that during the World War II, this is based on US Army estimates, they spent $1,981 per soldier. During the Southeast Asian conflict, that is during Vietnam War, again the expenditure was $1,941. Now we talk about global war on terrorism. US is spending $17,472 per soldier by equipping him with the sensors and the protection that is required. And futuristic, people are talking about anything between 20,000 to 60,000 that is required to be spent on a soldier, should you wish to give him all the gizmos that we have talked about. So this fact has to be kept in mind, that we talk about helmet-mounted displays, Bluetooth connectivity, integration, network-centric at the lowest level, but we have to remember the cost. Overview of industrial capability. Gentlemen, the private sector has been opened for defense products. With encouragement from the government, it is gearing itself for greater participation in defense sector. Unlike in the past, companies across the world are willing to share technology with us. They are willing for co-production. You do not really have to rely upon public sector undertakings or there is no dearth of technology that can be made available to you. And private sector can provide better equipment at a lower cost. So therefore, it is very imperative that private sector be given an opportunity in the defense market on a level playing field. Rest of the points are already on the viewfoil that has been shown to you. But what I do advocate is public sector with its formidable infrastructure in partnership with private sector, with its vast reservoir of talent and resources, it can effectively accelerate the implementation of soldier modernization program, provided they work in harmony. I would like to mention a couple of more technologies that are available, which may be of interest to the special forces. One is, there are radars which are available to see through the wall. So if you are confronted with a situation where the terrorists or extremists are holed in a room, it is possible for you to know where they are, how many there are, and what method you need to take. This is commonly available. It's not so rare as made out to be. Next, it can also be done by a probe. It is possible for you to send a probe into a room which can able to transmit the information in the picture inside a room to you to enable you to take necessary countermeasures or whatever action you need to take. Finally, gentlemen, briefly about MKU, that is the company to which I belong. It's a leading name in ballistic protection business globally, offering cutting-edge products and advanced solutions for personnel and platform, both land, air, as well as sea. We are a company with core focus on defense sector with global footprint spanning over 60 countries. We are investing heavily in research and development activities to develop new technologies and products for personal and platform protection. Vigorously striving to work with leaders in defense industry around the world in the form of joint ventures and co-production for modernization programs. We have recently embarked upon the manufacture of state-of-the-art night vision products in India to address the domestic as well as international markets for modernization programs across the globe. That is all I have to say. Thank you for your patience. I would like to take on the questions after.
Spoken Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have had a very wide expose to the modernization aspects of the soldier as far as the special forces are concerned. All our speakers, they have put before us the entire gamut of the areas which require to be modernized, what is available in the sort of French scenario, and what is available worldwide. So now the house is open. Please do identify yourself when you ask a question, and who is the question addressed to. Please be brief and stick to the point. Thank you.
Baranwal, my question is for Mr. Nicola. When you refer to soldier modernization, are you referring to Future Soldier program? That's one. And secondly, is your concept of soldier modernization really applicable to special forces modernization in Indian context? Thank
you. My reply is the following. Any system has to be modular, and any requirement is specific. I have presented, demonstrated, including in the frame of trial, this system or derivatives based on the same system backbone to a lot of forces in India, paramilitary forces, including special forces. The feedback I had was very positive. But you're right to say that any system has to be customized to address particular requirements. This system, for example, the French version, was trialed in France, obviously, in Guyana for tropical conditions, in Djibouti for desert conditions, and in high mountain. So we have a fairly good experience and return of experience as to environmental impact. However, India is specific, and we are more than ready, if any agency is willing to cooperate with us, to custom, including DRDO, to customize this particular system backbone and any other sensors or effector to tailor it to the Indian scenario. And I think there was a second question, but I lost track some. Okay, no, this Feline concept is what is available as of now. The future for us was in 2003. We got the contract for system integration and prime contractor way back in 2003. So we went through a learning curve of more than 8 years. So when we are talking about trade-offs, when we are talking about optimization by the system, we have this 8 years experience, and I'll give you an example. Seamless communication between weapon sites and the system. Yes, indeed, Bluetooth technologies are available and they can be factored into a system. When we decided 8 years ago to evaluate technologies available and what could be available 20 years down the line to prospective, we decided that first choice should be wire connection. Why that? Because we did not know at the time what could be the kind of jamming that you could have. If you jam a Bluetooth jamming is quite easy. And if you jam a Bluetooth connection between the helmet-mounted side and the weapon, you kill and you destroy most of the lethal capability of the soldier. So this is one example. So no, this system is qualified, undergoing mass delivery within French forces, and like I said, will be deployed in Afghanistan in a couple of months.